Welcome to Gamebird Spotlight, a product of the North American Gamebird Association. And tonight I am thrilled that we are able to bring in two guests from our convention in the past. They've been with us in New Orleans, Orlando, and did you all make it out to the hunting club conference as well, or no?
Not the hunting club conference.
Oh, okay. This is a product that is designed and pretty much applicable for our growers in our industry. And that product is called Hatchtracker. So this is where you can find more information, hatchtracker.com, and we have a phone number scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Now, I do have a PowerPoint presentation that you all showed us there, and rather than my asking you a whole lot of questions, I know you're going to go ahead and tell us. So we're going to take a look at what you've got going here. So whichever one of you, so Kristin and Jessica, welcome first of all. And I want to welcome our guests who are watching by live stream. This will be aired the Thursday before Easter 2024. And so if you celebrate Easter, I want to wish you happy Easter. If you don't, we'll wish you a happy spring. And with spring comes hatch season. All right. Which one of you wants to lead us off?
Okay, I'll start. I'm Jessica Henman.
And I'm Kristin Millian. Thanks for having us today, Peg. We're really excited to be on the live stream and get to have a little bit more of an intimate chat with the NAGA audience. Jessica and I are the owners and founders of Hatchtracker. So it is a Gamebird management software. We're here today to talk a little bit about how our product can help our Gamebird producers' businesses. And it's really important to us to highlight that this was a product that was built by Gamebird producers for Gamebird producers.
So go ahead and go to the next slide, Paige.
Okay, I'm not looking far enough ahead, I guess. All right, so I guess we need to know, what is Hatchtracker? And that is you guys.
Yes. So we'll do a quick introduction of Chris and I's background and kind of share why we care about the Gamebird industry and why we even started this. It was actually an accidental business. I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur. I've been involved in agriculture, real estate. I'm an attorney. I've got my law license. And my husband's family, his uncle Bob Henman and his cousin Brad Henman have been raising pheasants and ducks for many, many years. And so Wes decided he wanted to start raising chuckers. And our farm is about 45 minutes away from our house. And so we quickly realized that Wes is not a great record keeper. And so we would try and do our budgeting and our strategy meetings at home, and his notes were at the farm, or, they were in his truck or whatever. And so we started the hunt to find an app, because there's an app for everything nowadays, to see what we could use to help him in his business. I was pretty shocked to find that there wasn't anything that I felt was applicable specifically to Gamebirds. And so that's how Hatchtracker hatched. And so Chris and I have been friends for a really long time. And so her and I discussed, and she decided that she wanted to join the team.
So as Jess mentioned, we've known each other for over a decade now. Can't imagine anybody else I'd rather do this with. And I was really delighted at the opportunity to step into this Gamebird industry and learn more. While I don't have a ton of Gamebird experience myself, it is absolutely fascinating. My professional background is really in project and operations management. And this Hatchtracker endeavor presented an opportunity to apply my skill set in a new industry and start a small business with somebody I really care about. As an outsider to the industry, I've gotten a really unique perspective of being taught by people who have been here for decades, and have learned so much. So it's really clear that there's a way that things have always been, and there's some really cool new trends on the horizon as the industry continues to evolve to keep up with the modern age. So we're excited to be in this space with our product and learn more and see how we can help.
Well, awesome. So that's really cool. The fact that you saw a need to meet a need, that is the way many of the products in the Gamebird industry have come about.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. What we've seen from the producers that we've spoken with, what Jessica's family and their contacts have seen is there's a lot of people using, pen and paper at the farm or a whiteboard at the farm. And then they take that information back to their home office where the producer or farmer is putting that data into an Excel spreadsheet. We've heard from some of our producers that they can spend up to 6 hours every week uploading the week's data into their Excel spreadsheet, which just seems like a huge amount of time. There's so many other things that you could be doing with that could help you be more profitable. So we're like, hey, let's help. We can do something here.
Not to mention how many of those little pieces of paper are going to get lost before they get to the Excel spreadsheet.
Exactly. Yes. So, with Hatchtracker, here's kind of the nitty gritty. It is an app that's on your mobile phone. So we like to say that you can keep your flock in your pocket, but it allows you to look at your whole flock or any subsection of your birds that you need. You can access your data in the field, and then you can run reports from your desktop at home as well. So you can kind of get a more granular view of what do I have, what's available, what birds are at what age. This tool also makes it really easy to know exactly what you have on your farm at any given time. So, a couple of really pertinent examples come to mind. If a client calls you while you're in the field and they're asking, hey, can I get, 500 birds on this date? Do you need to go back to your farm to make sure you can fill that request, or are you able to answer them right there? Even worse, what if you overpromise birds that you don't actually have? So this is a great way for you to say, yep, I can fill that request and know that you're doing the right thing for your business. Another really pertinent example is what if the USDA shows up on your doorstep because of avian influenza? If you have to destroy your flock or depopulate and you have Hatchtracker, you're going to know exactly how many birds you have on that farm, and you're going to be able to maintain as much of your assets as possible to start over after this event.
That is one point that our president has stressed, is good record keeping, to even know how much feed you have, to know how many birds, what have you got in, it's just amazing. That really does nail it on the head, to know what you've got, to know the figures, have them right at hand.
Yep, absolutely. So let's see here. Hatchtracker itself can do kind of a couple different things, but we'll talk about the big ones today. So one of the primary functions of our app is to track your data, being able to track hatching, breeding, and chick data. So number of chicks, bird mortality rate, your breeding stock, egg collection. And then it allows you to take that data and run reports. How many pounds of feed are you using? What's the inside temperature of your brooder barns? How is external temperature affecting mortality? What are your mortality rates by species, by farm? And there's a variety of reports that you can break down based on the data that you're putting in. We also allow you to manage client reservations directly from the app. So you can enter them in the field, you can view your reservations. And then we rolled out some really cool new features this year, including the ability to set a pricing schedule by age of the birds, where we've added a task list for employees, a calendar that you can see where you can also input like bird pickup dates or certain other reminders. So we're really excited to share all of that with you today.
So then that's awesome to be able to look at all that and see it right away. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit more just kind of about who we are as a company. Our goals are to continue learning about this industry. We want to help this industry continue to thrive and evolve to keep up with both customer demands and this new digital age that we find ourselves in.
I think that's one thing in this industry. You have a lot of the older folks who may not be comfortable with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got new people that are coming in that want to do it a little bit more techie.
Mm-hmm.
This is a nice blend of that, I think.
Yeah. And we can recognize that if you've been doing, your business a certain way for 40 years, it might be hard to adopt to something new, but we're hopefully going to make things so intuitive that it can be helpful for anybody, no matter where they are in their tech journey. But also just, again, reinforcing the accuracy of your data and the accessibility of your data. We want to help you be profitable. We want to protect your assets. We want you to be making money, not losing money. And we want to continue developing ways to help support the game bird industry and see it thrive.
Wonderful.
Our promises to you as a company, as a business, and as a partner in this industry, we are not going to collect or use your data. We do have access to it in order to support our customers, but we don't use it for any reason. We don't sell it. So you can be certain that your bird numbers, your personal information, your credit card details, all of that is protected with the best technology that we have available to us. On that same note, we're not going to lose your data. So although it is in a cloud, you can rest assured that it's safe and it's not going to suddenly disappear one day. Likewise, we're not going to disappear either. We're not here to make a quick buck and get out. We have, through Justice Family, we have stakes in this industry and we want to see it thrive and we want to continue learning. So we're going to be here, be around. We want to continue learning and learn how to be good partners to everybody in the game bird industry. So awesome. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jessica. She's going to walk us through a product demo through some screenshots that we've taken. We're really excited to kind of walk through this with you.
Perfect. So this is our website. This is our homepage. And in the upper right-hand corner, you can see a link that says Client Portal. So this is how you're going to access your Client Portal online. The screenshots that we're going to go through today are from the desktop version. It's just easier to show and demonstrate, but it's not the exact same on the app because it's a smaller screen, but it is very similar and everything functions the same. So this is going to be, so we've got three clients basically. So this is going to be your homepage if you are a multiple location, multiple species producer. So at the top, you've got, this is your entire operations metrics. So overall available birds are birds that you still have for sale. Your overall mortality rate is pretty self-explanatory. And then your overall birds on hand is your birds reserved plus your available birds. So it just gives you an idea of how many birds are on your ranch. If you drop down below, you'll see it breaks it down by location. So I have a Chico ranch and a Corning ranch. And on each ranch, there are chukars and pheasants. And so at a quick glance, I can look and see that in the Chico ranch, I have 8,635 chukars available. My mortality rate's about 13%. So just right off the bat, it's really easy to take a glance and know what's going on. So if I wanted to dive down into, let's say the Chico ranch, this is going to be your home screen. So if you are a producer who has one location but multiple species, this will be your home page. This is what you will see. Again, we're going to track the same metrics all the way through. So no matter if you want to look at, again, your operation as a whole or one individual hatch, we can do that. And so if you want to dive into a specific species, so if you're a single location, single species producer, this would be your home screen. And so this is where it's going to list all your individual hatches for that species. So again, over the top, you've got your available birds for sale, your mortality rate, and then your overall birds on hand. Dropping down underneath, you can see my January chuck. That's okay. My January chukars have, I've got 5 available and I've sold the rest, which is great. So going to the next screen, how do we track our data? So you can see in the upper right-hand corner, there's a plus button. So if I want to log for, again, that January hatch, I'm going to click the January hatch. I'm going to click the plus button, and then it's going to bring up this screen. So,
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right.
That's okay. The information that's grayed in the gray boxes, those are things that you cannot edit yourself. So it does date and time stamp it. So if you have employees and you tell them, to feed at 7 a.m. and they're, logging the data at 11 a.m., you know that they did not follow instructions. So we do count birds lost, that's mortality rate. Inside temperature, if your chicks are still in the brooder barn, again, it just helps you track things. And then outside temperature, you can either manually enter or you can have it automatically set to log for you. And then it does.
How do you get it to log your temperature?
It's a plugin that it's way above my pay grade, but it's a plugin that the developers put in the coding, basically. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When you're setting up your customer profile, you can set a location for that, and when you can toggle it on or off. So if you have, I only use this app for temperature, I will never deviate from it. Okay, you can enter it manually, and you just toggle that automatic plugin off in your profile. However, if you're like, you know what, make it easy for me, set it to, Youngstown, that's where I'm going to be. Then you would just toggle that on in your profile and set the location.
Awesome. Okay, great.
So that's gonna track all of your chick data. So you can do that for each individual hatch. The next screen that we're gonna walk through is going to be your hatching data. So if you incubate your own eggs, what we're gonna track here up at the top. These are all pretty self-explanatory. You have how many eggs you've set. You have, how many eggs have hatched, and then your overall hatch rate. So again, this is going to be for your multiple location, multiple species producer. So it's exactly the same as your chick screen. It's just tracking eggs instead of chicks. So if we click into, again, the Chico Ranch, it's going to take us into this species again. So now I know for this location, what am my eggs are setting, how many are hatching, and what's my hatch rate. So again, it really allows you to dive in. If you see that one of your locations is, for whatever reason, not, producing or not hatching as well, this allows you the data to give you, the tools to make some decisions. So if you click into the chuckers, it will take you again to the
next one.
There we go. It'll take you to this screen. So this will tell you this happens to be chuckers, all of your chucker data. So I've had some pretty good hatches apparently this year for my chuckers. So I've got a hatch rate of 89%. And again, this is just a really quick access. The neat thing about this hatching is once your hatch is complete, it automatically rolls this hatch over into your chick homepage. So you don't have to log the data again. You just now can start them as day-old chicks. So when you're ready to set a hatch, we'll go into the next. So this is where you're going to name your hatch. You can pick your location, and then at the bottom you can pick chicks or eggs. If you pick eggs, it's going to take you into the next screen, and it will allow you again to choose how many. This is for chicks. You choose your species. And then you enter the number of chicks that you're getting, and then you hit save. And then that will create a new hatch on your chick homepage.
And then you have incubator.
Yes, so this is when if you were to select the egg version, you're going to set how many eggs you're setting. Your incubation period allows you to choose how long they're going to incubate for. And your hatch period is how long, if it's going to be a 1 day hatch, 2 days, 3 days, you decide how long you're going to basically, pick the chicks. Then again, you'll select the species. If you have multiple incubators, it will actually track which incubator you put it in. And then if you have multiple hatches per incubator, you can also say, this is my second hatch in this incubator. So then you're going to click the save.
Someone needs to put in these eggs, these chicks came out of this incubator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So are we going to the next slide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, test hatch for SS.
So what we like to do, again, anything in gray is you can't change. But when your chicks are starting to hatch, you can put in, there's two different options. So if you have a 3 day hatching period, it will keep track of each day. So you will enter in 454 eggs hatched. It will give you that day's hatch rate. and then you can click the save button. So then you go in the next day and you say, well, we hatched, another 400 eggs. And then if you're ready, you can hit complete hatching. So, and then that closes that, that hatching window. And again, then it'll automatically take this batch or this hatch, for lack of a better word, and put it on your chick's homepage. So you don't have to do it.
All right. Now, you have a slide on male and female ratio, etc.
Yes.
How in the world do you handle that?
So this is your breeding homepage. So when we talk to producers, what we kind of sensed was they wanted to know their overall male to female ratio. Eggs collected obviously is a huge one, and then your mortality rate. So it allows you to have everything at a glance. And so we're just going to go through, again, this one, we can see that over multiple locations, multiple species, I've collected, 685 eggs of chuckers at the Chico location. So if we go into so if we're going to add a new breeding group, so what this does is, again, you can name it. So when I do it, I say, my chucker breeders for 2024, select my location, and then I hit save. And then it's going to go into the next screen. And what it will do here is now it brings up all of my hatches that are available. And it gives me the available birds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each hatch and say, okay, I pulled 20 females from the Orlando pheasants. And then I pulled, 50 males or 100 males from the February pheasants. And so once we do that, it's going to automatically total my birds. So I know that, okay, I've got, 500 breeders for this year. And it actually pulls them out of your hatches. That way you're not looking at, the January hatch and you're like, oh, I've got 15 birds available, but you don't because you would put them in your breeding stock for that year. So it actually separates them out. So then once you hit save on that one, then it just populates to the breeding homepage. This is our reserve homepage. So it's going to list all of your hatches where birds are available. So if someone were to call you to make a reservation, you simply click whichever hatch that you would like to reserve birds out of. And then it will bring you, go ahead and go to the next one, it'll bring you to the next slide. So this is going to be where you can put in your client information. And so again, it keeps it pretty basic, but you've got your client name, the company name, client phone, and email address. If they are repeat customers, you can actually click the green icon in the upper right-hand corner that says clients, and then you can select a client and it will pre-populate that information. And then if you drop down into the location, you've already selected what location, what species, and what hatch, and how many birds. And then for the age of birds, you can do eggs, chicks, juvenile, mature, or breeders. Pickup date, you obviously select the calendar, and then you can write in whatever notes that you want. So, like they're going to call when they're on their way, or $500 delivery fee, or, whatever specific notes that you need to put in for that client. So then, you're going to hit save, and that will take those birds out of the available birds, and it will just put them in the birds on hand.
Okay. Well, and then what do you do with this?
This is when you're making a reservation. As you can see, so you're going to select, in this case, I selected the first hatch under the Chico Ranch. So it automatically fills in what ranch or what farm location that I'm, selecting them from, what species they are, what the hatch name is, and then how many birds available. So if I wanted to enter in the birds needed box, if I wanted to enter 30, it wouldn't allow me to do that because I only have 15 birds available. So yeah, so then you click save, and then it would take us back to that screen that we were just talking about where it has all the client information.
Which, there it is.
Yeah. So then here it is. So here's all of your bird reservations, and by pickup date, you can easily access who they're from, how many they ordered, when they're picking them up. If you need to edit the reservation, you can simply click the name, and then it'll bring the reservation up, and you can go ahead and edit some of the data.
Okay. So if I click on a name and it takes me back there, I can take care of it there.
Mm-hmm. So you can change how many birds are needed. You can change the pickup date, and then again, any notes. And then you just, again, where that arrow is pointing, you can click the save, and it will update. It will update the data. In the event that, or not in the event, once your birds are delivered, you can go into the reservation and hit confirm birds pickup. It's the green button at the bottom of the screen. Then that way it takes, perfect. It takes those birds off of your overall birds on hand, and it decreases your total ranch count. That way you always have an up-to-date count of, how many birds are on your facility.
Wow. Okay. Then.
So this is your calendar view. It's pretty basic, but what is cool about this one is when you set a hatch, it calculates the hatch date for you, and so it creates a calendar event. Any reservations that you make, it will make a calendar event for the pickup date as well. You've got this view, and you also have a list view. It functions very similar to any other calendar. Yep.
That your list view?
Yep, that is the list view.
Okay, so are these printable then? So you could print these out and work off of them?
You can't print directly from our program. You're not the first person to ask that though. So we're definitely going to incorporate, a print function up, in the future, but you could take a screenshot, on your computer, on your phone and print it that way.
Okay, and then what I needed to do is print out all my NPIP papers and just get all my labels ready and all of that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're coming up to the hatch. What's the next thing? I mean, it's going to let me know, hey, I've got to have this many or whatever. It's going to remind me of everything.
So again, it'll be a calendar event, and then then so you can also make your own reminder. You can title it. You can put in a certain time, and then any notes. So so you can set your own reminders on top of the ones that are automatically generated.
Okay.
This is a task list. So again, you can just have a general task list for yourself. Or if you have employees, you can assign tasks to specific people. So, clean barn 2, you can say, John, that's your task. I've assigned it to you, but, cleaning the waters is going to be everybody's job. So whoever shows up first has to clean the waters. And so again, you can just have them check it off. This is going to be date and time stamped as well. So you'll know when they check it off. You can see when they checked it off.
And so this breaks it down?
Mm-hmm, yeah. So this breaks it down so you can make you can name the task. Again, you can set when it's due. You can have it repeat daily, weekly, monthly. You can assign it to someone, and then you can put in more specific notes if needed.
Okay.
This is our pricing calendar. We're pretty excited about this. Dan Barngrover actually inspired this feature at last year's NAGA. So this allows you to quickly know how much your birds are. And so if you raise your prices 3 cents a day and someone calls you and says, hey, Peg, I want to buy birds in May, instead of you having to, write out and figure out how many days that is, you can simply put the date in the calendar box in the upper right-hand corner, and it will automatically update your prices. And you get to choose your starting price and your increased price, and then how often you increase the prices as well. Yep, so if you've got multiple species, the drop-down menu, you'll get to choose, is it pheasants or chukars or quail? And then the from date, that's when that pricing calendar goes into effect. So, you can set it today, you can easily change things next year, whatever you want to do. So on the left-hand side, obviously we break it down again, eggs, chicks, juvenile birds, mature birds, and breeders. That second column is going to be your baseline price. And so that's going to be your baseline. The column next to that is how much you want to increase. So is it 3 cents? Is it $1? Is it 25 cents? Anything like that. And then the last column is going to be how frequently you want them to update. So again, daily, weekly, monthly, or annually. This is our reports page. So this is not available on the app, but just because the screens are too small. But we've listed a lot of different reports that we have. But the main ones are, again, mortality rate for your species or mortality rate for location. We've got hatch rates, pounds of feed, bird reservations by month, bird reservations by client, egg collection, birds sold by age. So the goal is to be able to use all that data that you've been tracking in your Excel sheet and actually be able to run some reports. And that way you've got the business tools and the answers to make decisions, if you're trying to figure out what's going on. So you can put whatever date range you're in. Yep. And you can run it in a CSV format. And then, so this is the overall hatch rate for February. So it breaks it down really easily by location. So the first line there is the Chico Ranch. I can see that in the month of February, my hatch rate was 60%. If we had run it for January and February, it would have January's hatch rate as well. So it really breaks out the data in an easy form that you can instantly say, okay, I know my hatch rate for the month of February, I know it for the Corning location, I know it for the Chico location, and I know for the overall operation what's going on.
The nice part too about what you're able to do with these reports is, like Jess said, there's a variety of metrics that you can run. And then we offer the ability to run that report as a CSV or run it as a graph. So if you just want it like, hey, I just need a gut feel, like, how are my birds doing? How's our mortality rate staying really stable? You can run this as a graph and it's going to have a display right there that you can see that trend line and whether or not it's increasing, decreasing, staying stable. And then likewise, if you really do want to pull the data out and maybe manipulate it a little bit more in Excel or do something else with it, when you run it as a CSV, you're going to get this nice little table there that you can then download and you can export it into Excel or do whatever you want with it after that.
For the uninitiated,
yes.
What is CSV?
It's comma separated values. It just means that it's very similar to the format that Excel uses.
Very good.
Yeah.
We do well raising birds, but this is, for a lot of us, it's just not our thing.
Well, that's what we're here for. Bridge that gap.
Right. Okay. So I'm looking at your next slide and you have payment information stuff. Does your program hold that information or do you have to get it every time?
No, it holds it, but it is encrypted. So it holds it in a safe manner.
So read protected.
Yes.
I think everybody is really concerned with, making sure that their information isn't in the hands of somebody in the downtown India.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Pakistan, and they're finding goodies on Amazon to ship
right.
Right.
So this is going to be your profile page. So it's going to have all that basic information. It's going to have your name, your email address. If you want to change your password, this is where you can do it from. Your payment information. If you have multiple locations or, you start using Hatchtracker and you have one location and then you go out and buy another one, the right-hand side, you can add a location to your profile as well. This is, and below that is the temperature autofill that Kristin was talking about earlier. You can toggle it on or off. Down below is your location. So this is where you can dictate what species you raise on which location, how many incubators you have at that location, and how many hatches per incubator that you have.
Right. So am I the only one that can put information in here? How do we work it with all of our employees and everything?
Yeah, so great question. So this is, if you are the owner, which of course you are, of your of your facility, this is what you will see. You get to your subscription information. That's where you can update things if you want to prepay or you can pay monthly, 6 months in advance, or annually. Your apps, which is over on the right-hand side, you're going to set up your entire profile in the client portal, and then you download the app and you enter your email address, your password, and then the access code that you get. For employees, you go all the way down to the bottom and you can see I've got 2 employees, one is Kristin and one is a guy named Brad. So I send them an invite. They will be asked to create a profile that's linked to yours, and you can toggle their access on and off. So if they quit or you fire them or whatever,
here, they're done. That's it. No more password.
Yep, exactly. So, and they can change your subscription information. That they can't change your credit card information or passwords or anything like that. They can log data, which is important.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I forget my password. Now I can go back and I can reset it, because that's a big problem for us. How many passwords do we have to have? And
I know.
You're not supposed to write them down, but how do you remember them? Okay, so I've forgotten it. There it is.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
so this screen is actually, if you are an employee of an owner and not the owner themselves, when they are in the program and they go to, my profile page, this is what they see. So it's significantly smaller than what that owner is seeing. All they can see is, oh, I need to download the app, or here's my access code, and they can reset their own password. That's it. Like Jess said, they can't see your credit card information. They can't change your subscription amount or anything like that. So it is quite a bit limited, and it allows the owners of any operations to toggle and manage their employee list, especially if you have like seasonal employees too. You may want to turn off somebody's access for part of the year. So.
Right. You don't know if they're coming back or whatever. That sounds good. Wow. You've covered a lot of information. I know there may be questions that people have. So folks here, write this down or take a screenshot. This is how you are going to get your information from these folks. You might want a demonstration. They can do that with you, right? And you can hook them up with it and let them walk through it.
We do, yeah. We offer product demos over Zoom, in person, but since the NAGA convention in McFarland's is already completed, probably not in person. And we will do an onboarding where we set up your profile for you, and so that will just helps you get a little bit more comfortable with the program. And then that phone number too, if you don't want to call us, you can always text us on that number as well. But we're happy to talk to you any way that you guys want to talk to us.
Very good.
Hatchtracker is just Jessica and me, so you're going to get one of the two of us. We try to have boundaries with work and life, but we do try to be really accommodating and work with people wherever they are and whatever their needs might be. So shoot us a text, shoot us an email, give us a call. We just want to talk to you guys.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to take the PowerPoint out and bring you ladies up. I very much appreciate the time that you've put in. It's been about 40 minutes that we've been talking, and you brought up some really good points. Keeping track of what you've got on hand, where your breeder flock is, how much you have. You're either going to have a whiteboard and be changing things constantly, or something like this where people in the field can put that information right in. Well, wonderful. I would like to encourage you viewers to contact Kristin and Jessica, ask them questions, ask for the demo. And in the meantime, we're all picking up lots and lots of Easter eggs. Those of us who are hatching, it's that time of year. We've never had to have an Easter egg pickup. We do it every time with lots of them. But I want to just encourage our viewers also to join the North American Gamebird Association. We do want to bring products that are of use to you that you can use and make your operation more effective and much more streamlined. Gals, thank you. I'll take you out at this point. Appreciate your time. You're welcome. And you, viewer, thank you for being with us. I appreciate your attentiveness. And again, thank you for being part of the NAGA viewing audience.